The world around us really is a beautiful thing, isn't it? All the rich life so vast to the point where there's still so much we don't know. A sentiment I think can be applied to video game worlds as well. We'll explore these incredible areas yet still feel like we know so little about the environment itself, even if said game tries to give us as much information as it can. This is something that's especially noticeable in the Mario series, a game series that's introduced tons of different regions to explore with tons of different ecosystems, residents, and challenges to complete in these places, which is why I want to go over all these regions with you guys today. Welcome to the insanely wild world of Mario. From the very beginning of Mario's time in the spotlight, a region had been established along with him, that region being the iconic Mushroom Kingdom. A kingdom filled to the brim with mushrooms both large and small, the local residents known as Toads, and their lovely leader, Princess Peach. Now, although the Mushroom Kingdom had been a thing since the original Super Mario Bros. Game, we didn't really get to see what it looked like outside the levels themselves. Sure, we had the grassy plains, the underwater swimming, and castles, but that's about it. A proper world map didn't really exist yet. Even the worlds themselves hadn't had names, all the worlds just being labeled after numbers in proper numerical order, with World 1 being the very first area, and World 8 being the very last. Mario as a whole was still in its infancy stages after all, so I get it. It wasn't until Super Mario Bros. 3 release that the Mushroom Kingdom's land was explored a bit more in depth. The Mushroom Kingdom in particular being revealed to be just a small part of a big area called Mushroom World, which, based on how the location of the main Mushroom Kingdom in Super Mario Odyssey is located on a giant landmass shaped like a mushroom, I think it's safe to assume all these areas are located in this specific piece of land. Each of these lands in Super Mario Bros. 3 had their own distinct themes and kings to them. World 1 being grassland themed, World 2 being desert themed, World 3 being water themed, World 4 giant themed, 5 sky, 6 ice, 7 pipe, and 8 dark. Most of these themes can be equated to real-world locations too, specifically like the grasslands, desert, and ice areas. These 3 themes in particular would be reused many times throughout the course of both 2D and 3D Mario games alike. Each of these worlds getting further and further away from the Mushroom Kingdom too. If we go by the assumption that the Mushroom Kingdom is located to the left of the initial start spot from the World 1 map, that means the rest of the Mushroom World regions in Super Mario Bros. 3 are to the east of the Mushroom Kingdom. But even that's going off of another assumption that the world map in this game would function the same way as looking at a map of a country or a globe in your house. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of assumptions thrown around on my part because there has yet to be a definitive world map for the Mario universe. From this point on, the Mushroom Kingdom took on many different forms, especially in the spin-off Mario games, such as Super Mario RPG, for instance, introducing areas with even more unique names such as Nimbus Land, Bowser's Keep, Star Hill, and more. However, this layout of the area seems to contradict how the Mushroom World works in the mainline titles, because the Mushroom Kingdom in Super Mario RPG is located on the northeasternmost part of the map, with nothing else but sea to the kingdom's east. Since this was pretty much the first game to really explore the Mushroom Kingdom's map in a more in-depth manner, I figured I would mention it. However, because the game is a spin-off title, can it really be considered canon at that point? That's partially a genuine question, but I'm leaning more towards no because it's not part of the mainline series. These same principles can be applied to the Paper Mario series and part of the Mario and Luigi series as well. At some point in the future, I might make an entire separate video on the different versions of the Mushroom Kingdom, but for the sake of this video and how convoluted things could get in regards to the other regions in Mario, I'm going to keep my statements later about the spin-off versions of the Mushroom Kingdom. When it comes to the Mario and Luigi games, Paper Mario, and the Mario plus Rabbids titles, the Mushroom Kingdom, or at the very least Peach's Castle, is almost always located in the very center of the grand landscape for these respective games. The original Paper Mario was the exact opposite in this case, however, Peach's Castle in particular being located at the most western section of Toad Town, which is of course the exact opposite location of where it was in Super Mario RPG. And that's pretty funny considering Paper Mario's initial concept was to be a sequel to Super Mario RPG. All of these spin-off titles would add in new areas to the Mushroom Kingdom's general area. Paper Mario adding the areas of Toad Town, Star Haven, Goomba Village, Dry Desert, Gusty Gulch, Lava Island, Flower Fields, and Shiver City. Then there's Mario and Luigi Partners in Time having its own version of Toad Town that's south of Peach's Castle instead of east, adding in new areas like Thwomp Volcano, Holly Jolly Village and the Gritzy Desert as opposed to Dry Desert. Granted, because most of this game's adventure takes place in the past, one could argue that those areas just changed over time, naturally, or from Mushroom Kingdom interference to become noticeably different by the time the Mario Bros grew up to adulthood. Like I said, it's just a bit of a convoluted mess that I might save for another video down the line if you guys want a more deep dive for the Mushroom Kingdom specifically that focuses more on the spin-offs. So after Super Mario 64 released, Peach's Castle and the Mushroom Kingdom in general took a bit of a backseat as the main Mario location. That is until the 2D Mario formula was rebooted with the release of New Super Mario Bros. On the DS. This game, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, New Super Mario Bros. 2, and to an extent, Super Mario 3D Land all followed a similar mushroom world map layout as Super Mario Bros. 3 did, i.e. all the different worlds themed around certain climates or land structures, and were all east of Peach's Castle and continued to go further and further east. Though it seems as more time passed, areas themes around beaches and lava became more of a staple to the Mushroom World's ecosystem, the lava areas being at the most eastern corners of the world, while the beach parts can vary. For whatever reason, the beach theme just didn't exist in New Super Mario Bros. 2, even though on paper it should be, following the same layout as the other New Soup games on the DS and Wii. The same thing goes for the forest region actually. It's World 4 in the first game, World 5 in Wii, and World 3 in New Soup 2. A Mario continuity, am I right? Huh? I guess since New Super Mario Bros. 2 was the most recent 2D Mario title to have that kind of map layout, that could just mean it's the most accurate for the time being though. Of course, there's still one more title in the New Super Mario Bros. Series I haven't mentioned yet, New Super Mario Bros. U. Well, that game actually took an entirely different approach to the 2D Mushroom Kingdom area, with the majority of the areas located to the west of Peach's Castle rather than the east. Rock Candy Mines and Meringue Clouds were located to the south, but everything else was western. Say what you will about these titles being too similar, but I think this change in particular was very cool because it was a way to keep the same themes of the previous games going while technically adding more depth to the Mushroom Kingdom landscapes, all by simply having everything located in a different direction of Peach's Castle than normal. It makes the idea of the other forest, beach, desert, and lava areas from the previous games still existing in the New Super Mario Bros. U-verse. As philosophers would say, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence.
Well, what I'm saying is that there are known knowns and that there are known unknowns, but there's also unknown unknowns. Things we don't know that we don't know.
What?
As for the other 3D Mario titles like Galaxy and Odyssey, the Mushroom Kingdom played a much less significant role in the narrative. Super Mario Galaxies 1 and 2 only allowing some brief exploration of Peach's Castle outskirts, while Odyssey went with a style more similar to 64's Peach's Castle, with a lot more to do outside of the castle, but less to do inside. Even the overall layouts kept relatively similar designs with one another, Galaxies being the most different, with what looked like a mini Toad Town leading up to the castle as an extra add-on. Even though the Mushroom Kingdom has taken on many different forms in both the mainline and spin-off titles alike, there's no doubt it's remained an iconic part of the Mario universe and will continue to remain one in the years to come, regardless of what new changes the developers may want to make to its layout. Obviously, the Mushroom Kingdom isn't the end-all be-all in the Mario-verse, right? There's many other surrounding places to explore too. Neighboring kingdoms to the Mushroom Kingdom was first experimented with in the Super Mario Land titles, with Mario going to a place called Sarasaland to save Princess Daisy from Tatanga the Evil Spaceman. The follow-up to this game, Super Mario Land 2, had Mario returning to his own private island called Mario Island that had been overrun by Wario by the time Mario got back. Problem is, even though these places do exist in the main Mario universe, they have not been explored anymore outside of these two games, the same way the Mushroom Kingdom has. So seeing where the other Mushroom Kingdom locations line up to each other geographically is kind of impossible to figure out, but we do have 4 kingdom names for Sarasaland. The desert-themed Birabudo Kingdom, the water-themed Muda Kingdom, the Easter Island-themed Easton Kingdom, and the ancient Chinese-themed Chai Kingdom. I guess we could just infer these kingdoms just go more and more east of one another like they do in the early Mushroom Kingdom games, which is fine, but when it comes to figuring out where Sarasaland is in relative to the Mushroom Kingdom, there's just no real way of knowing. Mario Island, which I guess is somewhere off the coast of Sarasaland, is made up of 6 different zones. Mario/Wario's castle located at the very center of the island, the Tree Zone in the southwest, the Turtle Zone in the southeast, the Macro Zone in the north, Pumpkin Zone in the northeast, and the Space Zone in, space. I always forget this game technically had Mario in space before the Galaxy games did. Following this series of games, Mario would again travel outside the Mushroom Kingdom in another 2D platformer, Super Mario World, specifically traveling to a series of islands called Dinosaur Land, home to many different dinosaur-themed creatures, most notably the Yoshis. Yoshi's Island being one of the most notable locations in this set of areas connected to Dinosaur Land. Now, Yoshi's Island has looked a lot different depending on what game it's taking place in, but I think a lot of those we can chalk up to the islands just changing over time, since almost every time Yoshi's Island was a staple location in a Mario game, it was taking place in the distant past, just like Mario and Luigi Partners in Time when the brothers were still babies and Bowser was a baby. So more islands terraforming into that area isn't out of the realm of possibility during the period where the Mario brothers and Bowser were growing into adulthood. The core locations in Dinosaur Land are Yoshi's Island in the southwest, Donut Plains in the west, the Vanilla Dome in the northwest, Twin Bridges directly north, the Forest of Illusion in the east, Chocolate Island to the south, and the Valley of Bowser in the dead center. For a while, Dinosaur Land didn't really seem to have a location relative to the Mushroom Kingdom, just like Mario Land and Saras Land, until the release of Super Mario Advance 2 on the Game Boy Advance that served as a reimagining of the original Super Mario World. The beginning of this game contained a cutscene showing how Mario, Luigi, and Peach arrived in Dinosaur Land via a hot air balloon. The hot air balloon was coming from the bottom left of the screen, aka southwest, implying that Dinosaur Land is located somewhere to the far northeast of the Mushroom Kingdom mainland. In the case of Super Mario 64, all of these areas in the game, from Bama Battlefield to Letha Lava Land, can be considered like their own islands. Some of these places just straight up float in midair since it's possible for Mario to fall off the edge into a void, but because of how the painting system in this game works, none of these areas really feel connected to one another. The best thing we can go off of is the official art for this game, said artwork showing a little bit of a globe of Super Mario 64 with the Mushroom Kingdom at the very top of the globe, what I can only assume to be shifting sandlands to the southwest due to a Pokey being there, and Cool Mountain to the west. I don't think there's any other possible way to deduce the relative locations of the other islands and worlds to each other in this game, so that's just how it is. Now, I do quickly want to mention the Luigi's Mansion series, because the original Luigi's Mansion, the locations of Dark Moon and Evershade Valley, and the Last Resort Hotel, I'm assuming are all parts of the general Mushroom Kingdom area, because Luigi was able to get to the first mansion through walking distance, the second areas were kind of close to his house, and the third mansion, the Last Resort Hotel, was accessible by bus ride, so those are probably all around the Mushroom Kingdom outskirts, but we just don't really know where because the Mushroom Kingdom itself was never shown in any of these games. Further into the world of 3D Mario, Super Mario Sunshine had Mario, Peach, and some Toads visiting the island of Isle Delfino for vacation, home to creatures like the Tree People, the Piantas, and the Sea People, the Nokis. Isle Delfino being a large island in the shape of a dolphin with 10 main locations to it. The airstrip, located to the most eastern part of the island on its own little area, Delfino Plaza at the tip of the nose, Bianco Hills around the base of the pectoral fin, Rico Harbor at the tip of the pectoral fin, Gelato Beach around the peduncle, Pina Island / Pina Park at the tip of the tail fin, Serena Beach at the base of the tail fin, Noki Bay around the dorsal ridge, Pianta Villa at the base of the dorsal fin, and Corona Mountain around where a dolphin's eye would be. Pretty much all of these areas on the island have some kind of tropical or sea theme to them to match the setting of Isle Delfino being a tropical vacation paradise, but each area having a unique twist on said quote-unquote beach theme. Rico Harbor being a port for ships, Pina Park being an amusement park with a beach at the entrance, and Serena Beach having a sunset beach look, but the main focus being on the hotel and casino you explore. In regards to where the Mushroom Kingdom is compared to Isle Delfino, well, Super Mario Odyssey actually makes this kind of easy to figure out. Japanese promo art for the game showed a world map for all of Odyssey, and at the most southwestern corners of the globe are the Mushroom Kingdom and Isle Delfino, with Isle Delfino just being a bit northwest of the Mushroom Kingdom's location. Sunshine's opening cutscene further backs this up based on the direction the plane can be seen going to / coming from on the journey monitor. The opening cutscene also shows some other surrounding islands circling Isle Delfino, one shaped like a jellyfish, a sea turtle, crab, bird, and a small fish. But none of these islands were given names or were explorable in the final game or any other game in the future, likely remaining a mystery for the foreseeable future. A quick jump into the spin-off side of things, I do want to bring up the Bean Bean Kingdom from Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. A kingdom run by Queen Bean and the Bean People that is said to share a border with the Mushroom Kingdom to the northeast, which can mean the Bean Bean Kingdom has the potential to be part of the whole mushroom-shaped continent shown in Odyssey, or there could be a slight gap in in the sea between the two. However, the whole border jump rope thing that you have to go through kind of disproves that. The general structure of the Bean Kingdom follows a similar design to that of the Mushroom Kingdom from the other Mario and Luigi titles that I briefly mentioned earlier in the video, with the main castle town located in the dead center of the region and the other areas spread across around it. There's Stardust Fields in the north, Hoo-Hoo Mountain in the northwest, Chucklehuck Woods in the southwest, Woohoo University in the southeast, Oho Oasis as a sub-island in the eastern sea, Teehee Valley and Little Fungi Town in the northern part of the kingdom too, although they are south and east of Stardust Fields respectively, Bean Airport directly south of the castle, Guarhar Lagoon across the southeastern coast, and Joke's End off the northeastern coast. The Bean Kingdom has retained some sense of continuity in other installments in the Mario and Luigi games too, specifically Mario and Luigi Dream Team having Popple, a resident villain of the Bean Kingdom, return as a boss. And this works as a perfect segue into another bordering kingdom slash island, Pilo Island, an island that appears to be located to the general southwest of the Mushroom Kingdom. This assumption coming from the opening cutscene showing the blimp the Mario Bros took to the island traveling towards the bottom left corner of the screen, while at the top of a forward-facing Peach's castle. Once again, following the same map structure of the other Mario and Luigi maps with the main castle in the middle of the region, the island is ruled by Prince Dreambert and home to many other races like the Pillow People, Brocks, Shelltops, and Namons, with the main locations being Pillow Castle in the center, Mushrise Park in the close south, Dozing Sands in the southeast, Wakeport in the west, Mount Pajamaja in the north, Driftwood Shore in the southwest, Somnom Woods in the direct east, and Neo Bowser Castle in the northeast. Most of the areas following the pattern of sleeping-related puns due to the whole theme of the island being revolved around dreams. Each of these areas having their own dream sections too, which is where the majority of the gameplay is focused on in this game, so exploring the real world isn't as much of a priority as it was in the other M&L games, if that makes sense. Now, for a while, the Mario series went a bit without exploring other areas on the planet where the Mushroom Kingdom and Isle Delfino are located, specifically in the mainline series. That is until 2017, when Super Mario Odyssey hit the shelves, a game that introduced tons of new kingdoms to explore on the planet's surface. Along with the Mushroom Kingdom, we are introduced to the Cap Kingdom, Cascade Kingdom, Sand Kingdom, Lake Kingdom, Wooded Kingdom, Cloud Kingdom, Lost Kingdom, Metro Kingdom, Snow Kingdom, Seaside Kingdom, Luncheon Kingdom, Ruin Kingdom, Bowser's Kingdom, and Moon Kingdom. That is a lot of freaking kingdoms. The Cap Kingdom being the first main kingdom Mario explores. A kingdom whose land is in the shape of a giant top hat, this kingdom is located to the northeast of the Mushroom Kingdom, presumably even further away from the Mushroom Kingdom than Dinosaur Land is. It's inhabited by hat people called Bonitors, and is well known for its very old-fashioned design, potentially being inspired by Victorian London. Plus, it's got the world's best hat stand and mobile homes that function like airships, just like the Odyssey Mario uses to travel around the game with. Now, the Cascade Kingdom's Fossil Falls is a very prehistoric-looking kingdom located to the far east of the Cap Kingdom, the two kingdoms being connected through a giant spark pylon line. It seems to be based off the real-life Iguazu Falls located between Argentina and Brazil, being one of the only kingdoms that doesn't have a set race of locals to it, mostly filled to the brim with enemies like Chain Chomps and a giant T-Rex. Even more to the east is the Sand Kingdom's Tostarena, a kingdom clearly inspired by Mexico considering the designs of the building and the Tostarenans wearing sombreros and playing maracas. The rest of the desert containing many ruin-like locations and a desert oasis. Because of how big the kingdom is, traveling by Jaxi can be very ideal to get to your target location quicker. Although a big target location here is the inverted floating pyramid, the real treasure, known as the Binding Band Wedding Ring, lies in the deepest ruins underground, previously guarded by an Olmec guardian deity named Knuckletalk. As for the Lake Kingdom's Lake Lamode, which is located to the northeast of the Sand Kingdom, it seems to take inspiration from several countries rather than just one. Greece is a big one, but the name Lake Lamode comes from a French phrase à la mode, meaning stylish in French, which further fits into the clothing theme around the Lake Kingdom, and the Lock Lady dress being its prized possession. The main residents being the Lock Ladies, which are similar to the Noki species and can breathe underwater. Located directly south of the Lake Kingdom is the Wooded Kingdom's Steam Gardens. All the kingdoms I mentioned from sand to wooded are all located on the same piece of land as well. Steam Gardens appears to resemble the national parks in the United States, due to the mixture of nature and man-made structures together. Something that's even applied to the Steam Gardener locals to the kingdom, all of them being robots, implying that they are are too man-made. The steam gardeners spend most of their time tending to the flowers of the kingdom, especially the ones in the secret flower field and the Sourier bouquet. Similarly to Tust Arena, Steam Gardens has its own quote-unquote underground area called the Deep Woods, a place that's inhabited by an aggressive T-Rex and only escapable through using giant beanstalks. Now, there's not a whole lot to say about the Cloud Kingdom since it's pretty much just a boss arena, just some clouds in the sky that are southeast of the Lake Kingdom and northeast of the Wooded Kingdom. However, one of my personal favorites, the Lost Kingdom's Forgotten Isle, has Mario on a near uncharted island surrounded by poison waters. Located to the southeast of the Cloud Kingdom, it's very hot and mostly populated by tropical wiggler and trapedals. According to early concept art for the Lost Kingdom, its ecosystem is based on the rainforest in Southeast Asia, specifically the island of Borneo or Madagascar. Be wary of those pain-in-the-ass kleptos too. Following the Lost Kingdom is a fan favorite, the Metro Kingdom's New Donk City. Located to the far east of the Lost Kingdom, this New York City-inspired kingdom was targeted by Bowser because of all the electricity it had, hoping to use this electricity to power his church wedding hall on the moon. It's governed by their mayor Pauline, of course the same Pauline from the original Donkey Kong and the Mario vs. DK series of games. The city containing several references to the Donkey Kong franchise like Dixie Street, Diddy's Mart, and Cranky's Avenue. Its residents, the New Donkers, are the first time other normal-looking human beings have been used as nameless NPCs in the Mario series. Sometimes the city likes to hold festivals at night with Mayor Pauline and her band playing songs for the entire city. Great times all around. Now, the Snow Kingdom's Shiveria is located to the northeast of Metro and is one of the coldest places in the world, likely inspired by Siberia and having an average temperature of 14 degrees Fahrenheit or -10 Celsius. Although the surface of the Snow Kingdom may look a bit like a barren Iceland with not a lot going on, the entire city of Shiveria lies below, where the Shiverian citizens like to use their free time to partake in Bound Bowl races, but they're also shown for their quality baked goods, with the most prized possession being the Frosted Frost Cake, another item stolen by Bowser for his wedding. Oddly enough, the water in this area is probably the most dangerous part about it, so staying in there for too long could spell disaster. Directly south of the Snow Kingdom lies the Seaside Kingdom's Bubble Lane, a beach-themed kingdom potentially inspired by the French Riviera, aka the Mediterranean coastline of the southeast corner of France, due to the bubble lanes being snails and the main boss Mollusque Lanceur being French. Not only is this a nice relaxation spot to play some volleyball at, it's also got the giant glass tower responsible for producing some of the most famous sparkling water in the world. Most of the things to watch out for are in the water though, so it's best to play it safe out there. Southeast of the Snow Kingdom and northeast of the seaside lies the Luncheon Kingdom's Mount Volbono, a Mount Vesuvius-inspired wonderland that mixes the concept of classic lava world together with food. Even the Volbonan residents take after this theme, with their bodies being shaped like forks and wearing little chef's hats. It's also known for its stupendous stew at the very top of the mountain, a cooking carnival, and other succulent food-related activities. Navigating around the lava can be a little painful at times though, I won't lie. The Ruined Kingdom, also known as Crumbledon, falls into a similar category to the Cloud Kingdom and Lost Kingdom, where it mainly just serves as a boss arena and wasn't meant for Mario to explore at all. Which is unfortunate because I feel like a kingdom like this could have worked very well if it was as fleshed out as Metro or Sand was. Since it's quite literally a ruined kingdom, most of the structures there are broken apart. It has a very medieval theme to it though, not only from the castle structures, but the only resident being the Ruined Dragon or Lord of Lightning, one of the largest bosses Mario has fought to date. Bowser's Kingdom, or Bowser's Castle this time around, is bigger than ever before, following more of a traditional Japanese theme instead of the usual Western European castle. Even when Mario goes from island to island using the spark pylons, koto samples were used during the motion portions, a koto being the national instrument of Japan. Definitely hope future 3D titles take more of a creative leap like this with Bowser's Domains, because this was incredible. Then of course, there's the Moon Kingdom's Honeyloon Ridge, the Dark Side's Rabbit Ridge, and the Darker Side's Kalumina Crater, which all are on the moon. Not a whole lot to say about these, to be honest. Obviously, it's in space, completely disconnected from all the other kingdoms, has rabbits as its main residence, and the random church where Bowser held his wedding. Now, following the announcement of Super Mario Bros. Wonder, a new kingdom dubbed the Flower Kingdom was revealed. A kingdom that seems to be relatively close in proximity to the Mushroom Kingdom, likely being a bit to the east based on the very beginning of the World 1's overworld map. Man, it really feels like a lot of things in this game just keep going east for Mario locations. But because the Mushroom Kingdom can still be viewed in the distance of this game's first level, it's likely the kingdoms are both on the same piece of mushroom-shaped continent / world shown in Odyssey's globe. I'm sure more information will be provided once this game is actually out, but that's all there really is to go off of right now. Real quick, I do want to give at least a mention to DK Island. Although the Donkey Kong Country games have typically been completely disconnected from both the mainline Mario games and most of the notable spin-offs, the Mario movie adds some possible context to where it could be located. Around Princess Peach's official introduction in the movie, the Toads have a meeting showing off various different kingdoms' locations relative to the Mushroom Kingdom, with Donkey Kong Country, or the Jungle Kingdom, located to the north of the Mushroom Kingdom. If this movie hadn't shown that, I probably wouldn't have even mentioned DK Island at all, but yeah, you know, why not? It's a thing, so. At this point, I've covered all the main areas on the Mario World surface. However, there have been instances where Mario has gone beyond just the planet's surface, adventuring through the vast cosmos of outer space, or going to different dimensions altogether. The real human world is obviously a big one. Brooklyn, New York is canonically part of the Mario universe and is accessible through a magical warp pipe that connects the Mushroom Kingdom's world to Brooklyn sewers. Paper Mario's world, another major one. I briefly mentioned the Mushroom Kingdom layout in Paper Mario earlier, but the entire world of Paper Mario is in a completely separate dimension from the main Mario world. Thousand Year Door's Rogueport, Super Paper Mario's Flopside, Color Splash's Prism Island, and all of their surrounding areas. All of it is inside a magical book inside the real Mushroom Kingdom. Mario & Luigi Paper Jam confirmed this. Perhaps I'll do a video in the future about the whole Paper Mario verse if you guys think that would be something you'd watch. Then of course, there's the Super Mario Galaxy titles where Mario is going from planet to planet, galaxy to galaxy throughout the endless void that is outer space. All of these galaxies having unique identities to them, but none of them having a real connection to one another. That's only really the case depending on whatever world you're in, I guess. Like Gusty Garden Galaxy could be in the same space system as Freeze Flame Galaxy, since both galaxies can be accessed through the Comet Observatory's bedroom. Same goes for Galaxy 2's Throwback Galaxy and Clockwork Ruins, both being a part of quote-unquote World 6. There's a little bit of a sense of connection there, but it's not on the same level as Sunshine or Odyssey, where every single area in those games had that sense of connection between all the main areas. I'm not going to go over every single galaxy here as a result of that, because there are a total of 91 galaxies across both games, and to be honest, I don't think that would be a very fun time for either of us if I talked about every single one. Agreed? Then there's the case of Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, where both stories have Mario in what feel like completely different dimensions. 3D World's main story has a clear pipe spawned randomly outside the Mushroom Kingdom outskirts that, when traveled through, takes him and his friends to the Sprixie Kingdom. I think it's safe to call this place another dimension in a sense too, considering how the outside area looked while everyone traveled through that clear pipe for the very first time. It was very similar to how the Super Mario Bros. Movie depicted the two brothers traveling to the Mushroom Kingdom for the first time. Bowser's Fury takes a similar approach, only instead of a clear pipe, it's Bowser Jr.'s magic paintbrush that created a dark portal leading to a place called Lake Lapcat, where all the typical Koopa Troop enemies are cat-themed and Fury Bowser goes on rampages, properly having water surrounding all the main islands there due to it being called Lake Lapcat, of course. Again, similarly to the different galaxies in the Galaxy game, there's no real way to know where the Sprixie Kingdom or Lake Lapcat are truly located in regards to the main Mushroom Kingdom, or even the planet it's on for that matter, due to how the areas were introduced in this game without any further context. For a while, it seemed like, you know, hopping from planet to planet like in the Galaxy games wasn't going to be a thing again. I thought it was going to be like a unique thing to those games. However, the release of Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope changed that. Although the first game took place in a kind of different version of the Mushroom Kingdom era, this game has Mario and company traveling to 5 different planets to clean up some dark mess. There's Beacon Beach, Pristine Peaks, Palette Prime, Terraflora, Barrendale Mesa, and Curse's Stronghold. Curse's Stronghold in particular being located around where Rosalina's Comet Observatory is. Hard to say if this would be in the exact same location it was stationed in as the first Galaxy game, but I think it's just less of a headache to assume that just is the case, even though the Comet Observatory has been seen traveling around space before. Right now on the screen, I'm going to show a bit of a scuffed attempt to show where I think all these areas could be on a Mario Universe world map. Figured I'd include the space and other dimensions on there as well. Not the best looking thing I've ever made, but unfortunately I'm not as good at Photoshop as I'd like to be. There's a couple other interpretations of Mario Universe maps that I have found on Reddit that I'll show on screen too that I thought looked good. One by Reddit user Ven457 and this one by Cosmic_Rival. These are definitely a lot cleaner looking than the one I made. At the end of the day, my map, their maps, any of the maps we've gotten across the many years of Mario are likely only a fraction of what the universe truly holds or what might be out there. For all we know, there could be a third sister kingdom called the Star Kingdom that we don't know about yet. Many questions remain in this great, wide, wacky world. Thank you guys so much for watching this video if you made it all the way here. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this in the future. But for now, I will see you guys next time. Peace out, take care, bye-bye.